Well, hello again. We're now 4/5 of the way into the course. This particular chapter, or module, I guess you should call it, is kind of interesting because it's getting at some things that I feel pretty strongly about that we just don't do enough with on the CCLDP side. But I'm glad this module is in the course. It wasn't the last time I taught it, so this perhaps is better. We're talking about the whole accountability model that is very, very critical to the 21st century. So I have some things to share with you. I find it interesting that your module starts out talking about stage, as you would find in a drama. There is such a thing as a stage model for community colleges, but you don't see it where we are now. Where you see it is in a module on the college's role in developing the community. And they talk about the front of the house, the back of the house, and the technology that links them. So what really they're talking about in this module, I believe, is staging. Now, what do we mean when we say staging? Basically, what we mean is that you literally, to use the old African proverb, cannot eat the elephant in one bite. You take it a bite at a time. We cannot meet all of the challenges we face now, literally overnight. We have to establish a strategy, build it into a plan, and then be on about our business. It will take some creativity. It will take a blending of new technology with some very successful older strategies. I've referred several times in my interaction with you on the discussion board to how things that we did very successfully in the 70s and 80s, and by the way, we had recessions then too, to keep us going forward. So anyway, let's talk about those three interrelated challenges for just a minute. Basically, we're having a very new client base. Part of that has to do with the recession. Part of it has to do with Tom Friedman's idea that the world is getting flatter. The last 2 years I spent at the community college in Hagerstown, the number of students that I had who were not from the United States or even from the Western Hemisphere had doubled. And that's not going from 1 to 2. One of the last courses I taught, 20% of the class happened to come from either sub-Saharan Africa or from Eastern Europe, which is not at all like Washington County / Hagerstown, Maryland. But it's real, and it's something we have to be prepared to deal with. The second one, of course, is this moving toward all of the standard changes that we're seeing, particularly those that relate to technology. How are we going to go ahead and meet social media? How are we going to go ahead and use the voice, the simultaneous voice and video in real time? That's another big one. Our friends at Blackboard, for example, will be there within a year. And of course, the third one, the biggest one, the most exciting one for me, is President Obama's challenge to all of us. And now I have to take a little aside for a moment. You are reading a book by Dick Alford and somebody else. Don't remember the other person. I get worried when we get books like this because we sort of take them as though they're real. That book was probably up to date at the start of the good times that led us to the first Bush administration. And things were good. The economy was more stable for a variety of reasons. But anyway, take a look at the factors that are built into that book. And in all honesty, tell me if you think they are the most critical or even among the most critical. I really wish that they would update that book. Alford is still around. Don't know about the other person. But I know AACC could take a load. Some of it, yes, is addressed in that report that I sent you, their futures report. Okay, look at the objectives of the course and move out of that and back into something more structured. I think objectives 2 and 4 are literally two sides of the same coin. And I think you can meld them as you make your responses on the discussion board, as you think about the finalist synthesis paper for the module. I want to talk just a bit about the accrediting associations. I've taught a course. I consider myself, let me say it another way, I'm humbled by teaching it. My mentor at Morgan, Dr. Howard Simmons, spent 25 years of an illustrious 40-year career as executive director of the Higher Education Commission of Middle States. And Howard was way ahead of his time when he talked about the two characteristics. The rest of the associations have caught up. The two key concepts that you need to be aware of is, first of all, accountability. Accountability to a variety of peoples or groups, stakeholders. Let's use stakeholders. You've obviously got your community, you've got your trustees, you have your clients, and you also have, in a greater sense, the community, however it's being done by the state or by locally, of funding for the programs and services that you provide. So accountability is critical. Equally critical, in my opinion, is the idea of transparency. What is being done at the college should create a kind of an egalitarian culture, simply saying we are there to meet clients at their point of greatest need. For some, it may be as little as a semester who are building up a fine skill. We've had a number of kids, for example, and I use the word kids advisedly, number of kids come through the college for a semester, in one or two cases a year, who met all the expectations of the Naval Academy, but they were weak in a field. Usually it was either science or math, and they'd come back and work with us, get that skill level up to where it needed to be, and they've been very successful going down to Annapolis. Accountability in saying that there's no, as Orwell said, there are no more equal than other animals. Our job is to be there for everyone. Now, we will not be able to meet all of the needs at the same level. We will have to make some decisions. Many of them will be tough. But I think we have the capability and the leadership to do it. Now, let me speak a little bit to a concern that I have. We're supposed to be looking at what's going on with state governing bodies. Well, I will tell you, the state governing bodies in the United States today are by and large in a sad state of repair. There are a couple that are not bad. The board that is running New Jersey, for example. I'm a little bit biased. I have family in New Jersey. I have a great number of friends that work in the Jersey Community College system. And the director of that system is a former Howard Community College planning officer. And then when we had a state board for community colleges, Dr. Nespoli was the chief academic officer with that board. So Jersey's good. The best one right now, in my opinion, you can ask Dr. Link if he agrees, is the board in Florida. I find what they've done, allowing certain degree programs in the community colleges to expand. You have to present a case showing that you have the technology, you have the hard copy resources, and you have a qualified faculty. But the fact that it now increases almost geometrically accessibility to bachelor's degrees in Florida tends to make me pretty much a believer that they're at the head of the curve rather than behind it. Okay, let me move on. I'm kind of running tight on time. I did send you material done by Linda Susky. Right now, pretty much everyone would agree Ms. Susky is probably the most widely read person on accreditation strategies, particularly accountability and student learning outcomes, of anyone in the business. The first was a set of slides. They were the ones you got were from Vegas. I saw those exact same slides with one or two minor modifications at a Middle States meeting in Philadelphia about 18 months ago. So anyway, that's good. The report I thought was particularly helpful, given the assignment that you have. If you look at what Linda did, remember the assignment is to decide, okay, we've been told we're in trouble. What are the 10 things we're going to do? Well, if you look very carefully, A, at what you've written up to now, and B, at the list, albeit somewhat of a laundry list, that Linda has put together for you, I don't think you're going to have any trouble with that assignment. And finally, be thinking about next week's YouTube, the last one for the course. I'll have a bit to say about the assignment, the finals synthesis assignment for the entire course. I've been having a great deal of fun, as I've told you, reading your material, interacting with you. I don't think you're going to have any trouble, but it doesn't hurt to plan a little bit ahead. So let me know if you need anything more. I've tried to send you enrichment and supportive materials throughout the course, and you have made good use of them. So have yourselves a lot of fun with Module 4. It is kind of an exciting module.